Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome. This is Dr. Tanya White Johnson. I am coming to you again from Central Florida. And tonight we want to talk and share a little bit about how our experiences can help us grow, how actually our experience is a key to developing one's leadership ability, how we can use our experiences for our own growth. So, today I was in my leadership class. I do teach a leadership class at a local university, and we were talking about this. We were on the chapter where we were discussing how leaders, how great leaders, how we develop ourselves as leaders, and how great leaders use their experiences to catapult their growth. And the conversation was just so inspiring and so impactful that I thought, you know what? I think I want to share that with the rest of the world. I want to share what we learn and what we discuss and the tools that are needed to use your experiences. Oftentimes, we think that our experiences have to be positive in order for us to use them to grow. We talk about the positive experiences, the good things in life. But to be a great leader, to develop yourself personally and professionally, you must take the opportunity to use every experience that you've ever had to learn the lesson from and to grow from. So, one of the tools that we talk about in leadership theory is the spiral of experience, or otherwise known as the AOR model. That stands for action, observation, and reflection. And how we handle this, how we use this tool, is that we look at the action, what happened in this event. Because as we all know, life happens, right? Life happens and life is going to continue to happen. We cannot control the events in our lives, but we can control the lessons that we learn from those experiences. And what we want to share with you is that the AOR model looks at the action of the event. What was the experience that you just went through? Whether it was a failed marriage, or whether it was you got fired from your job, or perhaps you got sick with the disease, or something didn't work out on the job for you. You worked on a project and it didn't come out the exact way that you planned for it to come out. So the action part of it is that we look at what we did. We look at the event. The observation part is that we look at what happened. What were the results of this experience? What was the results of the marriage that failed? Obviously, the results were you got a divorce. That was the results. But we also look at the impact on others. We look at it from multiple perspectives. We want to look at it not only from our perspective, but in using this tool, we want to look at it from other people's perspective, maybe our spouse's perspective. How do they see things? I always tell people when I'm mentoring and coaching and they're going through relationship issues, I always tell people that there is your perspective, there is the other person's perspective, and then there's the truth. So my job is to get you to the truth. And that's what we need to understand. We need to look at it from somebody else's perspective. Because say a relationship with a husband and wife, if you wind up getting divorced or it's a failed marriage, the husband says, well, he did everything right. The wife says, well, I did everything right. Well, both parties did everything right. How did we wind up in this situation? And so most times we fail to look at it from other perspectives. We fail to see it from somebody else's perspective. And then we also want to look at the impact on others. So we're looking at the impact on the other spouse, but we're also looking at the impact on children if they are involved. We're looking at the impact on family and on friends as well. So we're taking all of this into consideration, and we're really in a deep thought process as we discuss and as we share and as we use this observation tool. Now, the final part to this spiral of experience is reflection. So now that we have a good look at what the action was, we have a good look at what happened, what the results were, and the impact on others and others' perspectives. Now we want to reflect upon this experience. How do we look at this experience now? How do we feel about this experience? Basically, what are the lessons that we learned from this experience? There's always a lesson. There's always a lesson to be learned. And so we should always look for the lesson to be learned from this experience. And so that's the model that we use as a tool to help us learn how to learn from our experiences. But the key role of there is a key part of the spiral of experience, and that key role is perception. How powerful is perception? So we understand that experience is not just a matter of what events happen to you, because we know that life happens. Events are going to happen. We can't stop things from happening around us. We can't, because we don't control life. So we can't stop events from happening to us. But what is most powerful and the most important thing, and just means everything about our experiences, it depends on how we perceive those events. One of my mentors, my pastor, my spiritual father, he always says that nothing bad ever happened to him. And I always used to look at him crazy, like, what do you mean? You're 70 something years old and you're saying that nothing bad ever happened to you. And I didn't understand it until I started getting into this theory, understanding that perception is huge in our learning from our experiences. So basically, what he was saying is that the things that happened to him, he did not label them as bad. He labeled them as something to learn from, as a growth lesson. He said that his mother used to tell him all the time that it takes all of this to make you a man. So he took that literally and said, you know what? Whatever happens to me, whether it may seem negative or whether it has a negative connotation, derogatory connotation, doesn't matter. I am not going to look at this as bad. I'm going to look at this as a growth lesson, because it takes all of this to make me a man. So that's how he chose to perceive those events in life that were not so nice. The other thing that we want you to understand is that we actively shape and construct our experiences. Again, we don't cause the events to happen to us, but we actively shape and construct what that experience looks like, what that experience feel like, and the effect that that experience have on us. We have the power. We are in control of our perception. We may not be in control of the event themselves, but we are most certainly in control of our perception of those events. Observation and perception, they both deal with attending to the events around us. And I think we all can agree that we are selective in what we attend to and what we don't attend to. People that don't phase us, that do not affect us, um, we don't attend to them. If that person that you absolutely have nothing to do with, if they said something negative about you, typically you don't care because they don't phase you. It doesn't matter what they say. But it's those people that we allow to affect us, that we decide that we are going to perceive their words, we are going to perceive their actions in a negative manner. So, what we also have to understand is that our perception is everything. We can perceive something that happened that was just so horrendous. We can perceive it as a lesson learned. How do I use these experiences? How do I use these, quote, bad things that happened to me to be a lesson that I've learned and can share with others? So that's really where we need to go with this. That's really what we need to understand is that bad stuff, and I say that loosely, quote, bad stuff happens to us. But how we perceive it is going to be the important tool that we use. So whether we decide to dwell in it, to dwell in the pain of that failed marriage, or dwell in the pain of that job that we lost, to dwell in the pain of whatever the relationship that went sour. So we have a choice. We can dwell in it, or we can use the tool of reflection and truly reflect upon the whole experience. We can use the spiral of experience to look at the action of the thing, to review and observe the results and the impact and others' perspectives. And then finally, use the tool of reflection to understand what we learned from it and how we can grow from it. So I hope that tonight you will begin to think about how to use your experiences to learn. We must learn how to learn from our experiences, use them as stepping stones to catapult us to our greatness and help others grow along their journey as well. So here's what I've learned in my own life and my own experiences, that all the stuff, and I say that loosely, all the stuff I've gone through in life, it was not necessarily for me. It was for me to be able to help others, to be able to share with them and you tonight that no matter what you're going through, no matter what you've been through, no matter what your life looked like, you too are an overcomer. And how do I know that? I know that you're an overcomer because I was able to overcome, but not without forgiveness, not without letting go, not without learning the lessons of the past that catapults me on to greater things. So I hope that you got a little nugget of wisdom from this tonight, and we will come back and we will talk more about perception and how we use our perception and how we use the spiral of experience to continue growing. So I love you. God bless you. And hey, don't forget to embrace your greatness. It's there. You just have to embrace it.